Welcome to Enjoy the Collective. I'm Marseille. Join my guests and I as we chop up the realities of the creative industry. I'm so glad you're here, so let's get into it. In today's episode, I have Dorcas of Dorcas Creates, who's an illustrator and brand owner. I have Rahana of Rahana Banana, who's an illustrator and also a brand owner. That makes me happy. Okay, so today I really wanted to talk to you guys specifically about just your journey into creativity and just how you guys have become so successful in your own right. And so this episode is called The Low-Key Journey. And I'm just thinking, kicking it off, I would love to know, like, how did you get started? How did you even get into illustration?
Yeah, it was something that, so I've always been creative. I've always drawn or sewed or made stuff with my hands.
Tactile.
Yeah. But I didn't really think about illustration as a career until I was 24, I think. Yeah, I finished uni, I studied finance, and then I was trying to get a job in finance.
Wow.
And it wasn't going well. And I started working in a school, and I was working with sixth formers, and I did that for 2 years. And after working with them and helping them figure out what they want to do when they leave school, it just made me think about what I was doing and whether I was doing what I wanted to be doing. And I was I'm really not. And then I just started illustrating just after work, and then did that for a little bit, and then quit my job and then started doing it full time for 6 months, just to see what I could do and if I would enjoy it and if I got good feedback from it. And then I ran out of money and then I had to get another job. And then after that, things started to pick up a little bit, and then that's sort of how it all escalated. Yeah.
I was gonna say, because I know that a lot of I've definitely been in that position where it's I've decided what I'm going to do, and I'm just leaving corporate world, but there was no financial plan for me, and so definitely ran out of money at some point and had to pick up an additional job. Rahana, what about for yourself? How would you describe your journey into being an illustrator and brand owner?
Well, I'm pretty much the opposite, because I always knew
that
I wanted to be an illustrator or somewhere creating something. But I've always been drawing, and I went to uni, studied illustration, and I didn't know, I knew I wanted to be an illustrator, but didn't know what field, what.
And how, I feel the thing with creativity that's hard is you love what you do, but how do you live off of it? How do you do this as a job? How is this a job?
Exactly. Because at first, I started off, I studied first fashion and clothing.
Oh wow.
Because I wanted to be a fashion designer first.
Okay.
But then and then I started doing sewing, and I hated it. I was I can't do this. I like drawing the illustrations. So I went on to fashion illustration, and I really loved it. But then I went on to then I went into uni, and that's when I saw different avenues and styles and stuff, illustrations. So I was I kind of like being broad. Doing everything. So that's how I.
So I feel I'm correct in saying knowing both of you guys' work, that your work is a celebration of Blackness, and I wonder for you, is that something that you're very intentional about?
Yeah, definitely. I think when I first started illustrating, I was just sort of drawing anything and everything. And then I just thought, when I would go to I guess craft fairs and stuff, I didn't feel I saw enough of myself there. I saw lots of people who illustrate plants or dogs or cats, and there just wasn't, or if they did illustrate people, there was just never any black people in them, which is fine, but it just felt weird to me that me as a black woman wouldn't be drawing black women specifically.
Yeah.
So that's when I decided to just focus specifically on Black women. I draw a Black man here and there sometimes.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I noticed that both of you have like ventured into drawing men, but definitely like the women for sure.
Yeah.
And for you, would you say it was like an intentional thing, or is it just like you're just drawing what you know?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, at first I would draw everything and anything, but I was like, I want to draw myself. Like, I want to draw for like my people. I want to draw like us. You know.
Yeah.
It's more, I don't know, comforting drawing.
Yeah, and it feels like, I would imagine, like second nature.
Yeah.
And I also imagine like you know, in that space, you don't see a lot of us there. But now that you guys are in that space, I imagine you receive a lot of love. And so what has been like some of the best or most memorable like feedback or compliments that you've received about your work?
Just when people say that it like looks like them, or like people they know. There was like one market that I was doing. There was like a little girl with her mum. She was like, "Oh, mum, this one looks like me when I grow up." And I was like, "Oh, that's so cute."
Yeah.
Just when people can see themselves in my work, that like always makes me happy. Yeah.
Yeah, same really. I've had women like just message me saying, "Thank you for drawing me." I'm like, oh.
That's so nice.
Yeah, and also when I'm drawing and my niece is watching me drawing, she's like, "Look, it's me," and I'm like, "Oh."
I love that, like we're everyone. It's like it's not someone specifically, but it's like I can see myself in everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So obviously I touched on that. Like to me, the main theme seemed to be Blackness and a celebration of Black women. Are there specific areas or specific things that you want to communicate through your work and your illustration? Is there like main ideas or main stories? Because I feel like Rohana, like with your work, I definitely get a sense of like the Caribbean. I can see like a lot of like St. Lucia and the Caribbean in your work. And so I'm just wondering if there's a main like thread that you see running through your work that you intentionally put there.
Oh boy. It is quite intentional, yeah. Like I do like to put that aspect of my life, like me partially growing up in the Caribbean. I like to put it in my work. And I also like the Caribbean style of like their art and stuff. It's nice and colourful and stuff. So I do like to put that in there, like
it's a
like,
big influence.
like a narrative in my art as well. So
yeah. What about for you?
I think I like to like draw different types of Black women, I guess, and like I'm always like staring at people on like the train and stuff like that, just like when I'm out and about, just trying to like I guess collect faces.
That sounds so weird, but I do understand what you mean.
Just to like to have a wide range of faces to draw, although I always end up drawing like the same face. It's a bit annoying, but yeah, I just want people to feel Black women specifically to feel like just like really loved and like joy when they see the images. So I tend to do like portraits. It tends to be like a head and body just like center stage in the image. Not too much background. If there's a background, there's like pattern work. But for the most part, it's just sort of like putting a Black woman center stage just to be like, here I am, look at me kind of thing.
I love it. I love it. And I love seeing both of your work like in its various forms. And I'm thinking as well, like, and this is a thing that I find is quite common with creatives, like we do what we do because we love what we do, but then there's the actual like business side of things and like eating and living. And so for yourselves, like when did you kind of recognize the distinction between being a creative and a creative business, and then what did you kind of do to make it more sustainable for you?
I guess when I do like tax, isn't it? You're just like, oh, actually, this isn't just like some little thing that you're just kind of doing. I guess coming from like a finance background, I always had like that kind of side of it, probably more so than the creative side. That was the bit that was like a bit harder for me to like get into, like starting off just creating for myself and then having to think about actually what is sellable? What will people want to buy? And then, but not overthinking it too much,
Right.
because people will be like, oh, we want you to do this, and then you do it and no one buys it, and you're like, but you said you wanted it, so why are you buying it?
Yeah.
But yeah, just learning to just sort of filter out what you like, what you want to put out, and what people may or may not respond to. And then just the financial side of things, I guess. Well, it's not just financial when it comes to business, isn't it? It's like project management, it's like time management.
Yeah, that's true.
Learning how to deal with emails, learning how to
admin side of things is like, so
deal with like clients and their expectations and your expectations, and it's like a constant thing. I think people think that you'll get to a point where you'll just be able to manage everything, and it's like, no, it's constantly just either figuring out what you want to keep doing for yourself and then like delegate out to other people. That's or if you want to scale back or scale up, it's just constant. It's like a never-ending to-do list, basically.
Yeah. No, I get it. And then Rahana, what about for yourself?
For me, for the business side, I needed help because I'm not very good at all that stuff like admin work.
Yeah.
I have a bit of help. I have my sister helping me, and all that financial side, I'm so bad at that.
Yeah.
I had to get an accountant.
Yeah.
Oh, because.
But I find like even with having an accountant, like he sends me things and he's like, okay, can you just review it? And I'm like, I can look at it. I assume it's right. I trust you, but I don't know how to decipher like what these numbers should be and if they're wrong. I generally check my address. I'm like, the address is right, and like. He'll have your NI. That looks correct. Yeah. Everything else, I'm like, sir, it's on you, really. I mean, it's on me, but I'm like, it's on you. Like, how do you manage with that side of things? Like, you with your accountant and finding one, and then that relationship with having an accountant.
My accountant's actually my godfather, so.
Blessed.
So I have, we have a good relationship, obviously, with that. So, but if I had to do that by myself, I'll go crazy. I wouldn't know what to do, honestly.
I think it's so easy to feel out of your depth because I'm just not a numbers person at all.
Neither am I.
Do you do your finances yourself or do you have an accountant?
I have an accountant. I got one last year.
Wait, so before that was you?
Yeah, I was sort of doing, like, I wasn't doing balance sheets or anything, but I was like, I just had like a couple of Excel spreadsheets. One was like, these are all my suppliers, these are all their costs. Another one was like, okay, these are certain products, this is how much it costs, this is when I ordered it, this is when I ordered the restock and stuff like that. It just helps me just have
so
it just
organized.
there. I don't always check it.
Okay.
Okay. I just put it in there and then just kind of leave it and then review it at the end of the year.
Okay.
But when I was getting the accountant, I spoke to a couple of different people. And the reason why I went with the one that I'm with now was because like there was another person I spoke to and it was such a quick conversation. I was like, you didn't explain anything to me.
Right.
I want you to explain it to me like
down.
I'm a 5-year-old or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the other guy, the one I'm with now, we had like a 45-minute phone call. He went through everything and it was just, I was like, okay, I don't understand half of what you're saying. That's fine. YouTube is there, Google is there. I can do all of that.
I think
but
I need to do more of that.
like, thank you for taking the time because I think that's what you need. You need to know that actually you're paying them for a reason. They're doing their job, and they're not just like
your finances are
taking
good
your
as
money.
well because to be honest, if anything goes wrong, it is on you.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, like, you both work for yourselves, and I think there's definitely a culture of freelancing and working for yourself in some ways. Like, do you think there's a over glamorization of working for yourself, and then what is the reality?
Yeah, for sure. Especially when I'm on Twitter and I see people like, oh, if you're in a 9-to-5, you're wasting your time with this and another. I'm like, you have a stable income coming in every month.
Oh my God,
you're living the life as far as I'm concerned. Like, it's really
Stresses
hard.
are.
You can have one good month and then the next month is not as good, and then everything is on you. I think that's what people don't realize, that if you're not constantly sort of hustling, then nothing's going to be happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Rent
Yeah.
Where's that coming from? Yeah, it's
That's
just
exactly what I was gonna say.
it's
Yeah.
a lot.
What would you say is like the best and worst thing about working for yourself?
I think being in control, I think, is the best thing.
yeah.
Not having to deal with like office politics
Yeah.
or like. I mean, I still get passive aggressive emails, but it's not as
Yeah.
bad as when I was like
Yeah.
working before. And just having that like flexibility. Like, okay, so I'm not a morning person. I can't, like, I've done it. I've done the whole like 5 a.m. wake up to start work at 7. I've done that, but I don't have to do that anymore. So if I'm up before 10, it's a miracle. Honestly, like I can't do it. So being able to work for myself and like work to like my body's natural like rhythm of work rather than like forcing it into like a 9 to 5 is.
Best and worst thing. The best thing is exactly what she said. Yeah, what Dorcas said. But the worst thing, probably inconsistency. Like you have a slow month, a good month, and it's just like sometimes I need that stable, that stable income.
Does it make it difficult to plan for like, I don't know, like holidays or like big purchases when you're thinking about what does next month look like? What does the next 6 months look like?
Big purchases. Like you're like, okay, I'm gonna purchase this, but will I get the same amount of money the next month? It's just like it's kind of nerve-wracking. So that's the one thing.
No, I get that. I think it's really tough because I do think that there is a glamorization of working for yourself and like being freelance and like yeah, there's aspects that are good, and in any role there's good and there's bad, and I just think like we just need to talk about the realities a lot more because not everyone is equipped for it, because you are responsible for your time. You have to be structured, you have to meet your deadlines. There's no one else that you can kind of fall back on or put it on. And so it's like, if you know that you can't work autonomously, then this might not be for you. And that's okay. But I do think we have to stop this like 9 to 5 hate, because it's a very credible way of like working. I think that's what my parents did. Do you know what I mean? And like, that's how we're able to even be here today, to choose to freelance, because they decided to stay in a job 15, 20 years and stick to it 9 to 5. So we need to like calm that down.
Exactly.
So I like to believe that you guys are, because I know that with creatives, I find that it's very hard to claim success. And it's almost like this dirty word, but I just think both what you guys have done and are doing is amazing. And I love seeing your work. I love seeing like the opportunities, like when you did Grown, and that being like you being like the sole illustrator on that. And I think you're now a part of Joyful. I don't know if I can even say that.
Joyful.
Can I say that?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
You've announced it, so yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, I just think, especially with that list of like illustrators that are part of that, I love, seeing you guys' progression. And I'm just wondering, how have you been able to like maintain and attain like such success or let's say success, with such a low-key profile? Because I find that you're both very low-key. Like, I don't see you on the gram and Twitter doing the most. Like, your faces, like, I could scroll for a while and be like, whose page is this? So, yeah, how have you guys managed that or maintained that?
Well, the Twitter thing is just, I just don't want to get dragged. So I just stay, I've just like lurk on Twitter, but I don't really But in terms of like Instagram, I just want my work to like speak for itself. Sometimes I'll like post stories and I'll post my face. But for the most part, it's just sort of, this is what I do, this is what I create, and just putting that out there and letting people like, I guess, any kind of reaction that they want to give just based off of that, rather than of me like as a person. But then sometimes I feel like that does come across in my work anyway. You can probably tell that I'm not like this super duper extroverted person from like the little snippets that you do get of me. But I think you can tell, like, hopefully, that I'm like a kind person and that I'm not, you know, a dickhead. So yeah,
I think it comes
hopefully
across.
that comes
I
across
think it does.
in like the small little bits that you get. But
yeah,
I think I just I'm quite private, so I prefer to like keep things to just like my
work.
small group of friends and then like the work, and then just do silly things on Instagram stories sometimes, but just to get a bit of my personality. But for the most part, it's just the illustrations. Yeah,
pretty much the same, really. I just let the art do the talking.
yeah.
On Instagram, there's nothing much to it, really.
Yeah.
Just
Is it quite intentional to not be like foreground for you?
yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
I'm quite a private person myself. I'm just like
So I'm so glad I've managed to drag you both out.
Yeah.
Because otherwise.
yeah.
So I don't know. This is like kind of a random thought, but I'm just thinking, you use social media, but what would you say for yourselves have been maybe the best platforms for selling your work? So like, not necessarily selling from your website, but in terms of where most people come from to your website to buy. Like, is it Instagram or like is Etsy better for you?
I think it's definitely Instagram, Etsy as well, and Pinterest, weirdly enough.
Yeah,
although I
Pinterest.
don't feel like I use Pinterest as well as I could use it. That's like on the to-do list to like figure that out. But I think Instagram and Pinterest.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
Definitely Instagram. Instagram is where it all popped off for me, really.
Okay.
Pinterest, I kind of just started using it properly with my work, like maybe like a couple months ago. What else? My website. But most people just say they saw me on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay. So that's pretty much where everyone comes from.
Are you guys on TikTok? Because I'm hearing like TikTok is really doing bits.
I have like maybe like 3 videos on TikTok.
Same. I literally just started, but the engagement I found on TikTok was quite like first video was like 260 like organic views, and I don't have like any followers.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool. It seems like the algorithm and things like that haven't really been made to the point where like it's hard for people to find your work. But then I did like a third video and I think I had like 4 views. And I was like, I don't understand how this works.
Yeah.
But are you stepping into the TikTok space and like?
Yes, soon I will. I'm actually on TikTok so much, but not
Okay.
for
Oh no, lurking.
Okay. But I'm not. I need to like start doing something on TikTok because I think Instagram is just, it's kind of fizzing out a bit. It's a
kind
bit,
of dead.
yeah. It's just I don't know for Instagram these days.
As in terms of like figuring out like how to utilize it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm finding like the times, I don't know when to post anymore in terms of times. I used to know, and now it's like I can't really tell. And like organically, like even my stories views used to be quite high, but now it's less than my personal account, which has like 900 less followers. So I'm like, I don't know how to.
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on these days, but
I think they're just trying to push more towards like reels and like video content, and then more towards like entertainment,
Right.
which like it doesn't help, I guess, like people like us who we're not going to be singing and dancing on Instagram and be like buy our artwork.
Yeah.
So I'm just
I feel like there needs to be a new platform for artists to showcase their work online. But I'm not sure. Like maybe Pinterest will.
Yeah, Pinterest is a tricky one because it's like Pinterest was actually quite decent for me, but I couldn't understand it. Like I couldn't figure out like how to like utilize it. And I remember like I had a call set up with someone from Pinterest, but they were like asking me questions like, okay, so what size is your team? It's a team of 1. It's like, okay, like what's like your general kind of revenue? I was like, what? Just tell me how to use your platform. Like I can't answer these questions for you. So I think because they realized I wasn't like a thriving business with like 10 plus employees, they weren't that interested in helping me. So Pinterest, if you're watching this, fix it. So you use social media quite a bit for what you do. What are some of like the positive and the negative side. So I guess we spoke more about the positive sides in terms of reach, but what have been some of the negative sides of using social media?
I guess people think that, it's going to sound really weird. I was going to say people think that they have access to you, but I don't mean it like that, because I'm like, no one. But in terms of like, you post something and then someone will be like, oh, but you should be talking about this. And I'm like, you don't know me.
Exactly.
I could be talking about this at home with my friends,
Yeah,
just because
yeah.
I'm not talking about something publicly.
In terms of like social issues and stuff?
Not necessarily just that. It was like someone messaged me one time and was like, oh, there's a book series that I really love by Octavia Butler.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, this person that messaged me said, oh, this Netflix series ripped off some of the characters from the book. And I just thought, you've never engaged with me. We've never had a conversation. No hi, just, you should be angry about this. Why? I don't like being angry.
Right.
I don't like being stressed. So why are you stressing me in my comments? It was really odd.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean.
it's
I don't
just like-
think you have to be someone for people to feel like they have access, but
Yeah.
there is that kind of like commentary that people feel they can provide without relationship.
Yeah, it's just like, it's just really, that sense of boundary is just not there on socials, which I find really weird. And I guess I used to like struggle with comparing myself to other people's like journeys on socials and like how they're living their life, and I'm like, my house is not that nice. You know, they're going this holiday, that holiday, and I'm just like, okay, I'm in my room. But after a while, I'm just like, I kind of feel like if you feel a certain way looking at someone else's content, then stop looking at it. Yeah, simple.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Negatives, boy. Where to start?
The list is
I guess a lot of people is like expect you to keep drawing the same thing. I'm like, I need to change. I like to change up a bit, you know. And they just like message me. He's like, oh, can you do some more like mermaids or something? I'm like, I don't really want to do mermaids right now, love. So like, stuff like that, or people just, I don't know. Just a lot of rude people in like my messages, my DMs. I was like, okay, like they would message me, asking for like commissions and stuff, and they wouldn't say hi, how are you? They're just like, how much for this? I'm like, okay, like okay, can you just
chill out a little bit with that.
Yeah.
I can imagine. I think Twitter for me is really like hell on earth, and I don't want to be dragged. And so like I do, like I lurk on Twitter, but I can't get involved in the conversations there.
It's just not a good place to have conversations.
It's not.
I have so much to say, but I just do not put it on Twitter because I'm like, no, someone's going to say something to me.
And it's just anything will be taken out of context, and I'm not here for it at all. Thinking about all that you have done and all that you have achieved, what would you say is next for you? Like, is there any kind of space that you want to venture into next, or is there anywhere that you want to take your art and your work?
I would love to do like homeware. I'd love to do soft furnishings. I'd love to work on like a film set. I'd love to do like costume design.
Oh wow,
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. I kind of want to do everything, not all at once, just sort of spread it all out. But yeah, I kind of want to try everything at least once.
Yeah,
just see how it goes.
You're here.
Yeah.
What about for you?
For me, I would like to like leave this country and like
I'm with you.
Yeah, and I would like to help people, like, because I want to go back to St. Lucia. I want to help the artists out there. So I would like to open up like an art school or something.
Wow.
Something out there for them, because there isn't as much.
Yeah, but that answers like the earlier question about, you know, ways that you're kind of creating space and opportunities for those who are coming up. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's so important, because I was having a conversation earlier and we were talking about, as creatives, sometimes we can see the world as London and like stay hustling in this like small space in London, but like the world is so much bigger, and there's just so much more out there. And yeah, I definitely feel like there's a lot of ground that we can cover.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to say thank you guys for coming and being a part of the conversation and just dropping gems and sharing your wisdom. It's just, unmatched. So thank you. And thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you liked it, like, comment, and subscribe. I want to say a big thank you to my guests, Dorcas and Rohana. A big shout out to Renaissance for allowing us to use this amazing space. And we hope to see you in the next episode.